I was watching this clip from the Two Worlds Collides podcast when this horrible thought occurred to me.
Now, it's easy for governments to demonise something like carbon dioxide. You can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it, yet it's the gas of industry. And if you can put leg irons on industry and slow industry down, then you can control a whole economy. So it's the aim of this is not to save the planet, not to save the environment. It is to actually control people.
Let me unpack that for you.
He sang as he watched and waited till his billy was. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
Have a look at this pattern that's emerged in Australia in the last 25 years. It's so bloody obvious that once you step back, it really becomes almost hidden in plain sight. First, it was the war on terror, an enemy we couldn't really see, we couldn't really touch, and we couldn't really feel. We couldn't even really point to it on a map because it was everywhere. In our airports, in our neighbours, in our inbox, every news bulletin, every alert, every headline, feeding a steady diet of fear into us. And while we were looking over our shoulders at this fear, the laws changed, surveillance expanded, whole new branches of government sprang up like mushrooms, a control system built on an invisible threat. Of course, then came COVID, same playbook, just kind of closer to home. Another invisible enemy, another emergency that you couldn't really see. And this time it wasn't exactly the airports and borders because they were all closed. It was your own front door. Don't visit your parents. Don't go to the park. For God's sake, do not question the experts. And all the while, power shifted again. From parliaments to unelected health bureaucrats, from communities to algorithms, from citizens to the state. Another control system built on top of another invisible threat. There was no symptoms. And now climate change, the invisible apocalypse. It's the weather, it's the sky, it's the future, so big and vague it never can be really disproven anymore, but always just urgent enough to demand a new tax, a new ban, a new restriction. You can't see it, touch it, feel it, but you're paying for it. And you'll continue to pay for it in your electricity bill, your fuel price, your food costs, your choices, and once again, power shifts upwards and centrally. Another control system built on another invisible threat. That's three faceless psychological campaigns. I'm calling them the Fear Trilogy. It's fear porn rolled out like a Netflix series for the masses. You binge watched it without even knowing that you were the star of the show. The pattern is simple. Create a threat too big, too abstract, and too invisible for you to actually verify. Then fill the airwaves around you with panic. Move the goalposts. Change the rules. Condition people to accept the new normal. Then build the infrastructure of control on the back of compliance. It's not about whether these threats are real. That's not the point of the exercise. The point is that fear is the most efficient delivery system for power ever invented. Fear doesn't need to be real. It only needs to be believed. Fear creates obedience. Obedience creates control. And control creates profit. We have been living inside the same psychological operation for over 2 decades now. From terror to virus to climate. The enemy is always invisible. The only thing you can actually see is the control system tightening around your life. The question isn't, is the threat real? The question here is, who benefits from you living in a permanent state of emergency? Because fear is the product, control is the goal. And unless we learn to break the cycle, the next invisible threat is already waiting in the wings. And the next time, they'll switch you on and switch you off with your digital ID if you don't comply.